Hi, this is Anna Bevan Gravely with NCFREE, and I am joined by Kim Coley, who is running for House District 36, as you can see on her signs behind her. Just so helpful. Kim, thanks so much for joining us. Is there anything you'd like to share with our members before we get started?
Well, first of all, thank you so much for having me. It took us a little bit to get here because of my technical difficulties, and I appreciate your patience with me. I also appreciate the questions you sent beforehand because I like to be prepared, but I didn't realize how much I would have to learn to prepare. And that's one of the things I love about being a candidate is I have really grown as a person. I have been in this district for 26 years and my area, they know me, my people know me, but it is so much fun, they say, to watch me grow. And I hope that this interview time that the people will see that I've even fine-tuned one of the questions that you bring up because I've evolved. And I think that is what makes good leadership is that we're evolving. And so as we enter into this interview together, let's begin to evolve.
Awesome. Fabulous. So first question, have you ever owned a business or been in a management position within a business?
So yes, first of all, I am an ordained minister. I have been ordained for over 17 years, and that is more managing and helping people. I didn't get involved. I actually went to college thinking I would go and become the pastor's wife and be writing and teaching Bible studies. I didn't marry the preacher. And so that whole thing kind of took a sideways glance for me. And I ended up becoming ordained because I could go into the jails or into hospitals or ICUs where families couldn't get into. And I found it was another way to serve my community. And that's all I ever wanted to do was serve. But my husband and I I married my husband who is in cable TV. And he was already in cable TV when I married him. 20 years into it, there was no room for me. So I had to create an opportunity where I felt like I was contributing and being a part of this marriage. And so I began flipping properties, and I have flipped properties for 25 years. While I've been flipping properties, I also kind of dabbled in photography. But did you know that some of the top photographers in the whole world are right here in North Carolina?
Oh, wow.
And I figured, you know what? There's some great photography places and studios to be, but only I can be the mother of Seth and Reese. Only I can be the wife of, and the CEO of my family household. So I backed out of that. Plus, weddings were a big deal. And as I was being a photographer of weddings, I would ask people if they were doing this in their wedding, because I wanted to be right there at the right time, and they were like, what is that? And I realized, what do you mean, what is that? Who's counseling you? Who's talking to you? And then I became the officiant of the wedding, which is really not a great pay swap, just FYI. But, it was another way. It wasn't a great financial choice to choose to officiate rather than to take the pictures. But when you're getting to join a man and a woman together and you're cultivating that communication between them, I'm trying to find the words. It's just the back end of that, seeing those successful marriages thrive and their families grow. Yeah, you can't buy that.
Yeah, wow. That is such a diverse background. A very exciting ride for all of us listening. Would you say that the current level of state and federal taxation is too high, too low, or just about right?
Okay, so I'm a conservative. It's always got to be lower. And the correct answer is that North Carolina has lowered they've lowered the income tax, the corporation tax, and we're needing to lower just a little bit more the franchise tax, because that matters to me.
Mhm.
But the truth is that that's the correct answer. But what I'm learning is that taxes are like the oil in an engine. It keeps things running. So what we really need to do is we need strong budget guidelines, and that's where I come in. That is what I'm good at. I like to do things faster, more efficiently, and better, a better product. And by keeping within our budget or even beating the budget, by being more efficient, then all of a sudden we all gain. We're all better off. And so I don't think that we can do without taxes. I think we just need to be more efficient. And I think that comes with communication and finding what works and what isn't working.
Mhm. Yeah, well, thank you. Do you feel it's appropriate for state or local governments to offer incentives to private businesses in consideration of locating, expanding, or conducting business in a particular part of the state?
So my original response was absolutely, especially as a home flipper, because when the market's hot and people are moving into the area, you're wanting that, you're wanting, it's affecting my pocketbook. And so I wanted, please incentivize these big companies to come in, create jobs, people move into the area. And then all of a sudden I was hit by the corporation and a corporate coming in and powerballing the local, our local government down in Onzo County. When I said my husband was in cable TV, he actually never did residential cable, was always with resorts and hotels, but was interested in providing Onzo County with a less expensive cable opportunity. And he could provide the same apples to apples that Comcast was offering, but they had cornered the market. They had been incentivized. They wouldn't do it. But you know what they were doing? They were overpricing the people. And so I think we have to incentivize, be a state that incentivizes bigger corporations to come in, especially when you have all our border states doing such. You want people to come in. It does bring jobs in, or it does help people relocating. However, we've got grassroots businesses here that they have grown here. And our farmers would show you that. We've got people that are strong and grassroots, and they're not here just because it's a quick line between Florida and New York. They're here because they're proud of North Carolina. Their Tar Heel is in their blood. They are wolf pack all the way. I did the signal wrong. You can tell I'm not a wolf pack. But it's in their nature, it's in their blood. And to bypass our local heartbeat of North Carolina to welcome these big companies in is wrong. It has to be balanced. And balance between the two, that's wisdom.
Yeah, thank you. Describe your personal opinion as to what you think the key principles of free enterprise are.
Principles, I don't know. I think I'm learning. What I do know is that freedom, the free enterprise, freedom is a key principle. We have got to have, matter of fact, I wrote something down. I'm going to put my glasses on for this question, because freedom is thinking outside the box. We have to have creativity, encouraging other people. When small business owners, when workers become small business owners, then they all of a sudden have a new idea and a new way of doing things. It gets the juices flowing and the creativity, and that's what free enterprise and capitalism is all about, is building upon something else, another idea, making it better. And so the freedom to do that, and we've got to work against burdensome regulations on small businesses, because those are the links in the chain that just hold back the small businesses, hold us back as free thinkers, hold us back as entrepreneurs. We've got to cut the chains and really let freedom ring. And I think that is, in my opinion, the greatest principle. Let freedom out of the box.
Yeah. So in your opinion, and this question is very interesting now. It's timely in what we're dealing with the federal government and with the state government in this time of coronavirus and a global pandemic. But in your opinion, what is the appropriate balance in the scope of federal and state regulatory requirements on business? What, in your opinion, is the best way to balance those protections without impugning economic vitality?
Okay, so one of the things about me is that I have learned to build a wide and a thorough Rolodex. And for our younger audience that will be going, a Rolodex, really? You mean your contact list? Exactly, but it used to be one of those filing cabinets you'd have.
I've heard of that,
and,
yes.
Did I lose you? Okay, so you've heard of that. All right, I just dated myself. And so the Rolodex is really good to have, like your contacts. You have people that are smarter about other issues or subjects, or their experiences are vast and outweigh my own. And so I actually asked for help on this question, especially with the current pulse of what we're going through now. And I reached out to the John Locke Foundation and ask them, tell me, educate me. And this is a couple of sentences that I learned from them that I thought, you know what, if you can't say it better, don't. Just tell people what needs to be said. And it's burdensome regulations hinder the economic growth. It is bad for job seekers and also for local revenue. When we find regulation is needed to protect the people's health or safety, it should be tightly tailored to fit that need alone. State regulations should not exceed federal regulations. If state policymakers see a need for stricter regulations than provided by the federal government, it should be done by elected legislators and not unelected bureaucrats. Our elected office holders have a responsibility to their constituents. They're expected to approach every nuance with their motto, do no harm approach. And I think John Locke Foundation said it perfectly. And so that is what we need to do. And that's what I want to do. I want to make sure that I am not adding one more thing to the link in the chain.
Yeah, awesome. So Kim, if elected in the fall, what would be your top 3 priorities as it pertains to the business community?
Really, I want to prop my door open. I love the next generation, not only because I'm the mother of 2 entrepreneurs, but because there's so much energy with them. So I would love to help find and help create that comfortableness between our next generation and the laws and where they're headed. Help. These are what I am going to be doing in the legislature is setting standards for your tomorrow and the tomorrows of your children and your households. So I want to prop the door open for those businesses coming in and those businesses that we want rooted here. I want to make it so difficult for the next generation to leave North Carolina and their children to leave North Carolina. I want you all to want to be home. And so by lowering franchises, trying to unclog the bureaucracy in our regulatory licensings, and always making sure that, you know how Motel 6 said, we'll leave the light on for you. I want people to know, not just in my district, I want North Carolinians to know that the door will always be propped open. You have an idea? I'm only here because someone propped the door open for me. I want to prop the door open for the next person. Who knows? It just might be you.
Are there like any particular pieces of legislation that are top on your list? Any particular things that you want to tackle first?
Yes, but it doesn't, mine is more with the justice system, and again with the budget. And so I am open to business and people encouraging me. I am not an entrepreneur. I am a great manager. And I think that's really important, that people know their giftings. And so that's just what I do. I'm great with budgets. I'm great with managing people. And so I like to work with others. And that's what I'm hoping I'll be able to do when I win in November.
Awesome. So thank you so much for this time. Unfortunately, we're coming to a close, but before we end, where can our members go to learn more about you?
I'm glad you asked. You can find more about me at my website, trustkimcoley.com. You can email me at conservativecoley@gmail. I'm Twitter, Coley4, the number 4, USA. And I'm on Facebook, Kim Coley for FOUR, Kim Coley for House District 36. And I'm also on Instagram, Conservative Coley. And so all of those, any of those, come on. And listen.
Lots of forms of communication.
Yeah, well, you know what? And you can't offend me. And you can't, I might not have the answer, and I'm not one that gives an answer off the cuff. I'm not like that. I'm looking for the long term. I'm wanting solutions. And your very question or your perspective may be what I needed for my own creative thinking, for my own freedom thinking to work. And so please reach out to me, ask me, put a nugget out there, let me think on it and dwell on it. We're in this together, literally.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for your time. And I hope you have a great rest of the day and good luck on the campaign trail.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate your time.
Absolutely.
Have a great day. Thanks, everybody.
Bye.